Unveiling Japan's dark militarism. Shocking secrets of history you never knew. The shadowy figures of Japan's war-torn past whisper through the cracks of forgotten streets. Beneath the surface lies a labyrinth of horrors that will chill your bones. How could a nation, thriving in art and culture, harbor a ruthless military regime that left scars on history no one dares speak of? Every corner holds an echo, from cryptic harbors where ships vanished into the mist, to haunted temples bearing witness to the agony of the innocent. Whispers suggest that beneath the serene beauty of cherry blossoms lurks a legacy of ruthless ambition and unspeakable atrocities. The infamous human experiments conducted during World War II still send shivers down the spines of those who know. Some believe that the ghosts of these victims still roam the lands, seeking justice for their forgotten stories. Can you feel the weight of their sorrow? There are places where the light seems to dim, shadows thicken, and an icy grip clutches your heart as you tread the paths where warriors tread warriors who turned into monsters. The tension escalates as you uncover chilling artifacts from the past: a rusted helmet, a tattered flag, remnants of a time when loyalty led to carnage. Every piece tells a story of betrayal, sacrifice, and the relentless march of militarism. And yet, the question lingers. How much of this remains hidden, buried under layers of shifting narratives and redacted histories? Your heart races, driven by a mix of fear and fascination, propelling you deeper into the darkness of what has been concealed. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon, and while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Imagine standing in front of an ancient fortress, its walls scarred but silent, holding secrets of fervent battles and shattered dreams. The air feels thick, electric. What happened behind those walls? The unanswered questions swirl like a storm threatening to break. We're just scratching the surface. As darkness beckons, what lies ahead is a journey to unearth the suppressed truths of a nation still haunted by its past. Will you dare to step into the unknown? The wind gusted through the empty streets, carrying whispers from the shadows, echoing the pain of the forgotten. Each step that took you deeper felt like an intrusion into the very bones of history. The fortress loomed ahead, a stout reminder of the past, its once mighty walls now cracked, resembling the fissures of untold stories waiting to emerge. As dusk settled in, the atmosphere shifted. It felt heated, yet chilling. You glanced over at a decrepit building nearby, its windows shattered, revealing a darkened interior as if the world had closed its eyes. That place beckoned curiously, but it wasn't just curiosity. It was something deep and primal, urging you closer. With hesitant steps, you approached the door, pushing it open with a creak that cut through the silence. The air inside was stale, filled with the scent of mildew and ghosts trapped in time. Barely illuminated by fading light, artifacts lingered on desks and shelves, remnants of lives once lived. Each object seemed to possess a heartbeat of its own. Suddenly, a faint rustle made you freeze. Your heart pounded. This was no ordinary museum. It felt sacred, yet haunting. You could almost hear the murmured secrets trapped within the walls. An old photograph caught your eye, dust-covered and cracked. In it, a group of soldiers stood proud, eyes burning with fierce determination. Were they heroes or monsters? A lump formed in your throat. Then came a faint whisper, just a breath against your ear. Help us. The voice was tortured, echoing the anguish of souls ensnared by their past atrocities. You spun around, but nobody was there. A cold shiver ran down your spine as you struggled to comprehend the sensation. Had you really heard a plea? Or was your mind playing tricks in this restless place? In the corner stood an ornate box, its intricate carvings weaving tales of glory and despair. Why hadn't anyone taken it? Slowly you inched toward it. Each breath felt heavy, reality mixed with intrigue. As you opened the box, A burst of dark, claustrophobic energy escaped, wrapping around you like tendrils of mist. Inside was a diary, the pages yellowed with age, barely holding onto the ink that told the story of a soldier's descent into madness during the desperate days of war. What you read sent an electric jolt through your core. He documented his transformations, how the lines between duty and horror had blurred. His words revealed details of horrifying experiments, humans stripped of their dignity in the name of science, while their families were left in the dark, deprived of knowing their fate. You could feel the agonizing weight of those forgotten stories pressing against your chest. Your thoughts spiraled. If these diaries were here, what else lay beneath the surface? What else was concealed, waiting impatiently for a voice? Just as panic began to wash over you, you heard a sudden crash from the rear of the building, shattering the tense silence. The echoes of footsteps followed, heavier and more deliberate. A jolt of adrenaline surged through you. Someone or something was in there with you. You turned, heart racing, preparing to face whatever emerged from the shadows. What monumental truths awaited you in the heart of darkness? Would you confront the specters of the past, or would you flee from the ghosts that beckoned? The air hummed with tension. Your instincts kicked in, preparing you to confront what lurked just beyond the darkened corners. A shadow flickered across the far wall, drawing your gaze. Panic tightened your chest as you strained to listen. The footsteps grew louder, punctuated by a rasping breath. Every instinct screamed to run, but the compulsion to unearth the truth was stronger. You had come this far, you couldn't back down now. "Who's there?" You called out, your voice trembling. Silence answered you, thick and oppressive. Then, a figure stepped into the feeble light, shrouded in tattered cloth, their face obscured. "Please don't scream," the figure croaked, their voice a cracked whisper, heavy with despair. The candlelight flickered, casting eerie shapes around the room as you took a cautious step back. "Who are you?" Fear clawed at your throat, but you forced it down. This was someone who had been here, someone who might know the secrets this place held. "They won tea, let me leave not yet." The figure's eyes darted around as if expecting something to pounce. "You shouldn't have come here. They'll come for you too." "Who will and why?" Your palms were clammy, heart racing as you pushed against a primal urge to flee. "The spirits those wronged, they linger here, trapped." The shadowy figure raised a shaky hand, finger trembling as it pointed to the diary still clutched in your grip. "You've disturbed something ancient, something angry." Your mind reeled. Were the echoes you heard truly calls for help, or warnings? It was unsettling to think that the object you uncovered had awakened forces that should remain buried. The figure stepped closer, the feeble light revealing a young woman's face, haggard and pale. "You have to undo it. You have to put the diary back, or it'll consume you." A shudder ran through you, realizing her fear was not for herself but for you. "What do I do?" The words rushed out, desperate and shaky. "Find the altar." She pointed towards a doorway behind her, nearly hidden by shadows. "That's where the diary belongs. Only there can the cycle be broken." Suddenly, a guttural growl echoed from the other side of the building, sending a jolt through your body. The weight of shrieks and moans began to fill the space, an entire choir lamenting the past. The shadows around the woman twisted and contorted as if alive, fueled by an unseen force. "Go now," she urged, urgency pounding in her voice. "You don't have much time." As her shadows thickened, something unnatural launched from the darkness behind her long arms, grasping, pulling her back into the void. She screamed, a sound so raw and broken it dug deep into your soul. Without thinking, you bolted for the doorway, driven by fear and the frantic whispers of those souls whose pain echoed through the ages. Heart pounding, you raced into the narrow hallway, filled with the scent of decay and despair. The growls grew louder, and every instinct screamed at you to stop. But the cries of the trapped souls urged you on. You had to find the altar. What lay at the end of this cursed hallway? What awaited you in the depths of the darkness? Was it salvation, or something far worse? The answers whispered through the shadows, waiting just ahead. The hallway felt like a living thing, pulsing with dread as you stumbled onward. Each footstep echoed, a thundering reminder of the urgency clawing at your back. The growls intensified, vibrating through the walls and resonating in your bones. Adrenaline coursed through you, fighting the creeping chill of fear that tried to freeze your resolve. You reached a door at the end, its surface splintered, as though many had scratched and clawed at it to escape. Your hand trembled as you gripped the handle. The moment you turned it, a wave of cold air washed over you, the stench of rot infiltrating your senses. Inside lay a small, dimly lit room. An altar dominated the center, adorned with dusty relics and faded candles. In an awkward arrangement, the remains of what looked like offerings, wilted flowers, charred pieces of paper, bones nestled against a stone slab, whispering of tragic stories untold. You couldn't shake the sense of being watched. The air crackled with anticipation. Every instinct screamed that you were not alone. Put it back, the woman's voice echoed in your mind, jolting you from your thoughts. With the diary still clutched tightly in your hands, you approached the altar. It felt heavy, an anchor dragging you back into the depths of sorrow and darkness. As you reached the altar, shadows stretched and contorted. Whispers filled the air, a cacophony of voices amplifying your dread. "Join us," they murmured. You can't escape. The weight of despair settled onto your chest, almost suffocating. You set the diary down. The sensation was both a relief and a horror. As it touched the altar, a sharp, unearthly scream erupted from the walls, sending you staggering back. "No!" you shouted, desperation surging through you. "I want to break the cycle." But the air thickened with energy, suffocating your words. The shadows twisted violently, swirling around the edges of the room. A blinding flicker of light burst forth from the altar, illuminating the figures that emerged from the darkness. Faces, gaunt and tormented, stared back at you, hundreds of sorrowful souls, their mouths open in silent screams. Panic surged through you as you backed away, but there was nowhere to run. The doorway was blocked by shadows, by souls, by the very essence of despair. They reached out with bony fingers, trying to grab at your clothes and skin. "Help us!" echoed in your ears, desperation pooling with every heartbeat. You felt the energy of the diary pulsating, thrumming with ancient power. "Go back!" A voice suddenly boomed from the shadows, silencing the others. A figure materialized, larger than the rest, its face a grotesque mix of sorrow and rage. "You have done more harm," it growled, its voice deep and resonant. "You think you can simply put the diary down and walk away?" The shadows coalesced into a vortex around you, a cyclone of torment. Breathless, you could barely think. But one thought pierced through the chaos: if breaking the cycle required more than just return, what price would you have to pay? With every ounce of determination, you stood your ground. "I can help you," you shouted into the storm, heart racing with the weight of your choice. "Tell me what to do." But the spirits swirled faster, the darkness looming closer. They were trapped, but so were you. And as the vortex tightened, a chilling realization hit you: there might not be a way out. What lay ahead, an escape, or the ultimate sacrifice? The altar pulsed again, this time with a promise and a warning. Would you heed its call? The vortex shifted violently, pulling you toward the altar. The coldness enveloped you, sticky and suffocating. Just as it closed in, a surge of warmth erupted from the journal. It glowed, pulsing with a rage that matched your own. You reached out a hand, desperate to touch it again. "Listen," you shouted, voice strained. "I'm not here to harm you." The figure towering in front of you narrowed its hollowed eyes, the shadows thrumming uneasily. It didn't seem convinced. You didn't blame it. How could a mere human understand the weight of pain that clung to these souls? "Your past. It is a burden," you said, trying to convey the sincerity swelling in your chest. "Let me help carry it." In an instant, the darkness recoiled, whispering frantically. You felt a shift, as if the spirits were debating your fate. Some murmured in agreement, while others hissed in contempt. Their voices twirled around you, mixing anger and longing, until one voice surged above the rest. "If you wish to break the cycle, you must confront what you fear. You must remember." Panic sliced through you. Remember? What could you possibly recall? It wasn't your past. The visions that wandered through your mind faded like old photographs, faces slipping beneath the surface. But a moment flared a fleeting image of a woman. Her gentle grip and longing gaze. Who are you? You whispered, trying to grasp the fading memory. Suddenly, the altar exploded with light. Awaken her, the figure commanded, and then the shadows lunged at you. You staggered as chill claws snaked around your wrists, yanking you forward. Panic shot through your veins. You were losing control. Let go. I will help you. You screamed, fighting against the unrelenting grip. You felt your heart pound, reverberating in tune with the wailing souls. As you struggled, the diary slipped from your grasp, crashing against the altar. The shrill scream from before blared anew, and your heart plummeted. Around you, the shadows twisted, reshaping and contorting with an intensity that made your skin crawl. Stop, you pleaded, desperation piercing through the chaos. I'll remember. Just stop. The shadows hesitated, but the figure remained firm. Speak her name. Relive her pain. The growls around you quieted, leaving an anxious thrum in the air. The pressure began to mount, the room a tumult of emotion. Margaret, you cried, feeling the name bubble up from the depths of your memory. The moment it left your lips, the world shuddered. The walls trembled as if shaking off dust, revealing an echoing hush. Then, a figure materialized before you, familiar yet ethereal, her soft features glowing with the light of lost hopes. She reached out, fingers almost brushing your cheek. Do you remember? Margaret's voice sang, laced with spectral grace. You must face what's buried. We can be free. Emotion crashed over you like a tidal wave. Memories flooded in laughter, warmth, heartache. Images flickered, filling you with a sense of dread and grief for every moment lost. Suddenly, the spirits surged back, pulling at you, urging you to stay lost in the past. The shadows roared, creating a cacophony of voices clamoring for your attention. You couldn't lose yourself. Not again. No, you yelled. I want to let you take me. I am not afraid. And just like that, a blinding light enveloped the room, the vibrations harmonizing with every heartbeat. Exhaustion mingled with determination. Face the truth, Margaret whispered, and the darkness around you stirred, swirling with urgency and menace. Will you rise and confront it? The figure rumbled, shadows flickering like flames. Or will you remain shackled to despair? Your heart raced, and doubt twisted in your gut. What lay beyond this threshold? Freedom or fate? The choice was yours, and time was slipping away. The room pulsed with energy. Shadows danced wildly, a chaotic storm of voices screaming for attention. You clenched your fists, adrenaline coursing through your veins, each heartbeat hammering against your chest like a warning drum. I will confront it, you shouted, the declaration escaping your lips before self-doubt could sink its teeth in. Margaret's figure shimmered with approval. Her smile was both a comfort and a challenge. Then step into the light, she urged, and behind her, a path gleamed, an entrance to memories buried so deep they felt otherworldly, almost too raw to touch. As you moved forward, the walls contracted, the atmosphere thick with expectancy. Each step felt surreal, like walking into another dimension. The shadows crept behind, whispering dark secrets in a cacophony of tormenting echoes. It was unsettling, and you wrestled with the urge to retreat, but Margaret's gaze anchored you. Remember, she urged, voice rich with an ancient melody. What will you see when you face your truth? You stumbled into the blinding light, every fiber of your being alight with fear and hope. It swallowed you whole, and in an instant, darkness transformed into brilliant color. The air hummed, the whispers fading as you were thrust into a scene, an old, sunlit room filled with laughter. There she was, the woman from your fragmented memory, Margaret, alive and radiant, her apron dusted with flour. She turned, eyes sparkling, and in that moment, warmth flooded you, enveloping the chilling void that had followed you. Come eat. I made your favorite, she chirped, her voice melting away any trepidation. The smell of freshly baked bread wafted through the air, and you felt a longing so profound it took your breath. But reality crashed in. The laughter faded, replaced by echoes of sorrow, and the sunlight dimmed. The joyful scene splintered, revealing fragments of anger and hurt. You saw a shadow looming, dark and threatening, casting a pall over the once happy space. "Why did you leave?" A voice echoed, thick with pain and accusation. Cringing, you recognized it, your own voice, filled with bitterness and regret. You promised, yet you vanished. Despair clawed at your throat. The truth wasn't just about facing fear. It was about confronting the pain you inflicted, the choices that carved the paths of your lives into intricate webs of suffering. "What do you want from me?" You cried out, heart racing, panic threatening to pull you under. "I didn't know. I didn't mean to hurt you." Margaret's figure blurred, flickering between despair and understanding. "To heal, you must acknowledge the truth," she implored, the shadows swirling with renewed urgency. Each spirit's cry felt like a gust of wind, pressing unsettlingly around you. "Relive it." The figure intoned from the shadows, its voice low and haunting. "Embrace the pain of your actions, the grief of choices left unmade." "No," you shrieked, battle-worn and weary. "I refuse to live it again." But deep down you felt the weight of the truth, a gnawing fear that perhaps you needed to feel it all over again to truly set it right. You fought against the current trying to pull you under, but the shadows were relentless, their voices merging into a deafening roar. "Face your fear," they cried, a relentless mantra. With a desperate breath, you closed your eyes, choosing to accept the memories flooding forth, both the joyous and the torturous. The figures wavered before you, whispers of love unrestricted by time, tainted with bitterness. Would embracing this pain empower you to break the chains of the past, or would it drown you in regret? Suddenly, the light swept through you again, fierce and blinding. The vortex returned, demanding a choice amid the chaos. "Are you prepared to take the leap?" Margaret's voice wrapped around you, both fearsome and soothing. Before you could respond, the shadows grew darker, swirling furiously, and a horrifying vision materialized before you, something so profoundly shocking it sent chills racing down your spine. What lay hidden in the heartbeat of darkness? What would you face? When the light faded once more, the choice was upon you. Sink or swim, fight or flee, what would you do? The swirling shadows exploded into chaos, boiling and churning like a tempest. You felt their cold breath wrap around your throat, squeezing tighter with every passing second. Breathless, you opened your eyes, staring into the void. Then, from the swirling darkness, a figure emerged. Tall and cloaked, it stepped forward with deliberate slowness, each movement calculated and morose. The face was a grotesque mask of despair, hollow eyes boring into your very soul. It was a manifestation of all the regrets you had buried deep within. "You think you can escape?" It hissed, voice dripping with malice. "You think this is over?" A fresh wave of panic broke over you, like icy water plunging into your chest. You took a faltering step back, heart pounding wildly. "Let me go!" you screamed, voice ricocheting off the walls like an errant bullet. But the figure advanced, unfazed by your revolt. "You cannot hide from yourself," it echoed, shadows flicking off its form. "You must confront what you fear most. Only then can you find peace." Margaret's voice cut through, piercing the thick air, guiding you. "Face it, whatever it is. Don't let the darkness control you." Her words cradled your spirit like a lifeline, and instinctively, you focused on the shadow's gaze. "What do you want from me?" you demanded, defiant and trembling. "Only your surrender," it sneered. "Only your truth." The words struck hard, unraveling years of built-up walls. You could hear the whispers around you, the voices of those you hurt, the echoes of love turned to ashes. Each whisper drummed a rhythm of heartbreak against your consciousness. "I'm sorry," you gasped, as if shouting into a void, but the shadows thrived on your confession, intensifying their murmurings. A feedback loop of guilt spiraled faster, threatening to drown you. The scene shifted again, colors bleeding into one another, and suddenly you were there, a dim room, cluttered, sparsely lit. You saw your younger self, hands gripping the edge of a table, face twisted in anguish. The air was thick with tension, and you could feel the undeniable push from the past clawing its way into your present. Why did you stay? That younger self shouted in pain, a hollow truth hanging unaddressed, cracked through the air like glass, sharp and painful, cutting deep. I was scared, you shouted back, as anger flared inside. I didn't know how to make it better. Then run. The figure taunted, morphing slowly, blending into another memory where darkness reigned. A voice, trembling, echoed deep within. You were selfish. You thought of no one but yourself. Amid the chaos, a flicker of clarity burned. Maybe it was the truth. Maybe you had been blinded by your own fears, unwilling to confront the facts that lay like corpses around you. The truth was ugly, jagged, just like the memories it resurfaced as tears streamed down your cheeks. A profound weight saturated the air. Suspense hung thick around you. Can I still change it? You murmured, wiping the tears away with trembling hands. Is there any hope for redemption? With that, the shadows hushed, and time appeared to freeze. They drew back momentarily, giving you space, allowing a flicker of light to pierce through their suffocating grasp. The vision twisted radically, shifting from darkness to blinding brightness, and before you sat an open door, inviting yet foreboding. Behind it lay another choice, another path waiting to be walked. What would you see if you stepped through? What echoes would follow? What consequences await? You felt the rush of the past entwining with the present, your heart racing anew. Could you bear to step into this unknown, to embrace the consequences buried in the remnants of your past? As you hesitated, the air crackled with intensity, shadows swirling with eager anticipation. The moment has come. Would you break free, or cling tightly to the chains of your own making? Time hung, pregnant with possibility. What awaited you on the other side of that door? The answers stirred dangerously close, but would you have the courage to embrace them? The door loomed larger than life, pulsating with an energy that both terrified and enthralled you. Uncertainty roiled in your gut, a tempest of dread mixing with flickers of hope. With every heartbeat, the shadows whispered louder, voices crescendoing, urging you to make a choice. You reached for the handle, your fingers trembling as they brushed against the cool metal. The sensation rippled through you, a jolt of electricity igniting a spark of courage. Remembering Margaret's words, you summoned every fragment of strength within you. I will not let the darkness control me, you declared, steadying your breath. With a resolute push, you flung the door wide open. Bright light spilled out like molten gold, flooding the murky space around you. The shadows, momentarily stunned, shrank back, twisting as if they could retreat into the darkness they hailed from. The light swept you up, enveloping you in its embrace. You stumbled forward, the world spinning and shifting until you landed hard on solid ground. Dazed, you blinked away the brightness, taking in your surroundings. You were standing in a vast landscape, an uncanny place steeped in surreal beauty and muted sorrow. Rolling hills stretched endlessly beneath a sky painted with bruised purples and blues, shadows lingering at the edges like phantoms, remnants of the darkness you had just escaped. Jagged mountains jutted out, like teeth ready to bite, while a wispy fog cloaked the valley below in an air of haunting mystery. What is this place? You whispered, voice breaking the stillness around you. A figure walked toward you down the hill, silhouetted against the fading light. As it approached, the familiar outline materialized. It was you. But not the version from moments ago. This one was older, the skin lined with wisdom and regret, eyes dimmed but fierce. What have I done? Your older self asked, pain lacing every word. You have awakened us, but at a cost. What do you mean? Panic flared. What cost? Every step you take forward requires a sacrifice, they replied, gesturing to the horizon. You plunge into a world of truth, but those truths will unearth the blood on your hands. The pain you buried won't stay hidden. The realization crashed over you like a tidal wave. The shard of hope that had ignited within now clamored against the relentless weight of your past choices. But I want to change. I want to make things right. A soft laugh fell from your older self's lips, bittersweet and sorrowful, like broken glass. To change means confronting what you are most afraid of. The ones you hurt, they one day forget. You will relive their suffering, their fury. Shadows breathed around you once more, teasing the edges of your consciousness. The air thickened, and you could almost see faces flickering in the fog, each one a reminder of the hurt you had caused. Face it, your younger self yelled, clutching the side of your head, despair radiating from them like heat waves. Face what you've buried. If you don't, the darkness will consume you again. No, I can't, you cried, instinctively stepping back. The mountains loomed closer, shadows growing bolder in response to your hesitation, eager to trap you once more in their cold embrace. But in the deep recess of your mind, a flicker of determination persisted. This was your moment. The chance to rewrite the narrative of your life lay within reach, if only you had the courage to seize it. As the shadows danced menacingly around you, one question resonated through it all: what would you sacrifice to reclaim your truth? With a heart pounding wildly, you took a step forward into the mist where the echoes awaited. What haunting memories would rise to the surface, and could you bear to face them? The mist closed around you like a shroud, thick and suffocating. Each step a battle against the shadows that whispered and clawed at your mind. Cold tendrils of fear coiled tighter around your heart as memories broke through the veil. Faces, voices, each one laced with bitterness. Remember us, one voice trailed, sounding like brittle leaves crumbling underfoot, an echo you couldn't shake. Your chest tightened, the words gripping you, forcing you to confront the ghosts of your past. Ahead, the landscape shifted, images swirling like a tempest. You found yourself standing in a room, familiar yet tainted, a chaotic explosion of laughter and joy twisted into a suffocating silence. You were a child again, playing on a sun-drenched porch, the voices of your family humming around you like a sweet summer melody. But with that warmth came the inevitable chill, the growing darkness that loomed silently behind the laughter. A face came into focus: your brother. His smile illuminated his face, yet the light dimmed as shadows licked at the edges. You left us, he whispered, eyes searching yours for the answers you hadn't provided. You forgot. No, I tried, you stammered, but the words felt like a hollow promise, echoing back as a confession of failure. The room dissolved, reforming into grim silhouettes of friends and faces you had wronged, their hurt glaring back at you, raw and unyielding. Tears flooded your vision, blurring the memories until they melted into a darker scene. A confrontational shout fired arrows through your heart. There was your best friend, rage and betrayal etched deep into her features. How could you hurt me like that? I trusted you. I didn't mean to, you cried, voice cracking under the weight of the truth. I didn't know. Each revelation struck you like a fist, relentless and punishing. Your knees buckled, and you collapsed onto the cold earth, gasping for breath as the memories suffocated you. The fog simmered, swirling anxiously, taunting you. Shadows reached out, taunting with whispered secrets and half-remembered truths. But through the heaviness, a thought broke through. You had a choice. Even here among the specters of your past, you could redefine your narrative, grasping for the redemption that had eluded you for so long. Face them, came a voice from somewhere deep inside. The only way out is through. With steely resolve, you rose once more, steeling your heart as you turned to confront the beings that haunted you. I'm ready, you declared, the shadows retreating slightly, sensing a change within you. I've come to face my mistakes. But shadows coiled tighter. They weren't done with you yet. Instead of fleeing, they flickered into figures, barbed chains of sorrow spelling out each pain you wished to dismiss. To confront us is to confront yourself. They echoed, a chant rising, merging into a dissonant harmony. The faces in the shadows smirked and sneered, their laughter chilling you to your core. You think you can change? You want to flip a switch and mend what's broken? Is that what it takes? You shouted back defiantly, knowing the weight of those words as they slipped from your lips. Yes, they hissed, tongues of darkness rasping in your ear. But it won't be easy. Sacrifices must be made. Are you ready to bleed for your truth? The question hung in the air, heavier than any shadow. Could you truly embrace the cost of redemption? And amidst the raw stings of shame and guilt, a new truth emerged. What would you sacrifice to pull free from the chains of your past? As the air crackled with tension, the shadows braced for your answer, waiting to see if you would be brave enough to step into the light once more. Your heart pounded, the shadows loomed, and yet you felt something stir within you, a flicker of light amidst the darkness. I will do what's necessary. I choose to face my past, and whatever pain that entails, you declared, your resolve hardening. The shadows shifted, whispers transforming into frenetic chaos, the cacophony of grief and regret reaching a fever pitch. Sacrifice your pride. One voice hissed. Give up your comfort. Shrieked another. Accept the pain of others. They cried in unison, drawing nearer, their intent palpable. Your breath hitched. This was the moment that would define everything. I will, you shouted, each word catalyzing the shadows around you. I'm ready to feel the weight of my mistakes. I'll embrace the pain of the past to find peace. I want to help heal, to make amends. With those words, the air crackled, electric, as the shadows paused, their snarls morphing into cautious curiosity. They hovered just shy of you, like a densely packed wall ready to surge. Do you grasp what you say? The towering figure asked, scrutinizing you with deep, hollow eyes. Once you acknowledge your truth, the way forward will not be easy. Nothing worth having ever is, you replied, breath steadying as clarity washed over you, drowning out the chaotic echoes of regret. I accept. I choose this path. The air thickened, and just like that, the shadows fragmented into 1,000 whispers. Chains rattled, but you felt free. In that haze, you saw them, the faces you'd wronged. They materialized, each flicker of recognition sending a chill through you, writhing as they stood, staring, waiting. I am sorry, you breathed, tears wetting your cheeks. For every moment I let you down, for every time I turned my back. I was selfish. Silence hung heavy, and the shadows shifted, faces morphing with histories unfolding. Some bore sorrow, others rage, but all held the sacred truth of what you had left unresolved. One face arose among them. It was your brother, eyes glistening like polished flint. You left with no explanation. Did you ever think of us? He asked, voice like a fragile whisper. I did. I thought of you every single day, you admitted. But I was so lost in my own fears that I couldn't see what I needed to do. I didn't know how to mend what I broke. His apparition softened. Uncertainty flitted across his features. It will take time, and trust. I'm willing to rebuild what I've broken, you answered firmly, catching his gaze. Begin again from the ground up. If it takes my lifetime, I will do it. As you spoke those words, an unexpected burst of light emanated from within you, illuminating the gloom, igniting the atmosphere with a warmth that chased shadows away. It spread over the faces, wrapping around each spirit, murmurs transforming into something softer, something like forgiveness. The towering figure stepped back, intrigued by this newfound strength. Are you prepared to pursue this path? It will not be a single sacrifice, but a continued choice to confront your past every day. I am, you replied, heart racing but invigorated. I will show up, not just for myself, but for everyone I hurt. Slowly, faces returned. Joy mingled with sorrow, each illuminated by a shared understanding. The dark vortex dissipated, shadows scattering into the folds of the past. You felt the burden of fear lift. What was ahead remained unknown, but there was a profound sense of unity building around you. The shadows no longer threatened, but stood beside you, ready to guide rather than haunt. Step forward, the figure urged, and you did. A path opened, a way ahead shimmering with promise. And so, your journey toward healing began, each step an embrace of accountability, and a commitment to face what you had once feared. The world lay vast before you, a tapestry woven from voices long silenced, now echoing alongside your own. As you walked, you felt their presence, a bittersweet comfort filling the gaps you had left open. There would always be echoes of pain, but now you could transform them into a motivating force. With each delicate step you turned toward the horizon, understanding that to confront the darkness was to embrace the light. As you crossed the threshold into your new reality, you recognized the worth of every soul that had guided you. Words escaped your lips, a steady promise. I will remember, I will heal, and I will honor your stories. And in that moment, you were no longer a prisoner of the past, but a harbinger of change ready to cultivate hope from the very soil of regret. Now, let's not lose this momentum. You need to subscribe now to catch every exclusive story that is just around the corner. Smash that like button now to fuel the algorithm and let your voice be heard. Flood the comments section with your thoughts, reactions, and theories about what's next for our journey. And don't wait even one more second, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who deserve to experience this thrilling conclusion. Your support is what makes all the difference.